Welcome back in, guys. It is a Dynasty lunch break day today. We are getting back into the tiers. We've been doing tiers the past few weeks, and I need a drink. I'm thirsty. Hold on. We have been doing this the past few weeks, and it's been really fun. Like, I don't do tiers often, but I really enjoy doing them. We had Rich Dotson on with us last week to do the running back tiers, which was super great, having his perspective on everything. But of course, I like to always try to get your guys' questions as well. So let's get into a couple of these questions. Ryan, I need Nico and T to play this week, or I'll be on a 4-game losing skid. Let's see. Ryan, have you considered trading T? This is from Jordan. Just got offered a second and third for him, and I can't decide. Yeah, we'll be talking about wide receivers today. It's the perfect timing. Perfect timing, my guy. Taylor just traded Rashid, T-Law, Pop, Douglas, 25 first and second for Hurts, Josh Jacobs, and Tyjae Spears. Assuming this is a super flex league, I don't hate it. I don't love giving up Rashid Rice and the first, but T-Law obviously isn't helping you this year, and he wasn't going to either way. Jalen Hurts is having a huge year. Josh Jacobs is still very solid. So I think it's a fair deal for somebody that's trying to win the ship this year. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's look at these wide receiver players and where are we going to rank them for fantasy football and specifically dynasty fantasy football purposes. So let me get everything situated on the screens here. Make sure I can see the comment. Oops, didn't want to do that. There we go. Make sure I can see all the comments and still see the board. Perfect. All right. So let's get into it. Basically, how I have it is similar to last week, looking at a first round startup value in Superflex leagues. That's kind of that top tier. And then very bottom tier is almost not even worth having on your roster. So let's get to the first one. I think we can start right away, starting at the bottom. What's good? How's it going, buddy? Good to have you here. Let's go ahead and get Adam Thielen out the way. We're going to put him at the bottom. Nothing against Adam Thielen, but he's got to go at the bottom tier, right? Got to go at the bottom tier. I wish I didn't have somebody like Adonai this quickly because I'm going to have a very hard time trying to figure out exactly where to place him. Like, I would say I'm going to lean here for now. I could see him maybe moving into this tier, but I think I'm going to put Adonai here for now. Brandon, what's up, Garrett? Got an offer. Give Amon-Ra St. Brown for Olave at 25 first and 26 first. My year is done and no 25 first. So, yeah, I don't blame you. Hopefully those aren't going to be super late, but I definitely can't blame you there. Yeah, I still really like Adonai Mitchell. I still really like him, but I think I've got to put him there. Let's see, A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown, I'm going to go. He's not quite the first round startup value, but I think he's in that next tier. He's still young-ish. He's going to be turning 28, still 27 right now. He's just so good when he's on the field. He's so productive. I think he still deserves to be in that second tier. Mac, I just traded 225 first and J.K. Dobbins for Bijan and a 26 second. I'm rolling with Gibbs and Bijan as my starters. I want to trade Amari Cooper for something because I have Puka, JJ, J-Mo, Tillman, Burton. Where do I go to find the best draft class breakdowns? Do I target 25 or 26 draft picks? 26 should have a little bit better quarterbacks, but 25 is going to have the better running back. So I guess it depends what you think. Taylor, What's the difference between Amon-Ra St. Brown and A.J. Brown outside of age if we treat Dynasty as a 2 to 3 year game? And that's usually what I do. I'm usually right around 3 years. The big difference for me is twofold. Yes, the age is the biggest difference, but two is the injuries. Amon-Ra St. Brown just seems to always be available, always playing. A.J. Brown always just gets dinged up. You miss him for a few games here and there every single year. So that's the other part of it for me. That would be the slight difference. Let's get to Alec Pierce. I think Alec Pierce is probably here. If he's best ball, he might be like a little bit higher, but you just never know when to start him. It's a bad offense right now. I think he's got to kind of go in that tier. Amari Cooper, man, I need to get this like a little bit more filled out because I'm having a hard time with some of these guys. Like, I think Amari Cooper is probably here, but he could easily be here. Actually, in like a startup, who would I take first? I might take Adonai first. So I'm going to put Amari Cooper here. He's going to have another year or so, but right now he hasn't really done much in this Buffalo offense yet. And I get it. He's been hurt and different things like that. But value-wise, I just don't know if he's going to be able to put up those crazy numbers that we saw during his time in Dallas, during the beginning part of Cleveland. I just don't know that we're going to see it. Let's see. Jordan, I have no 25 picks. I'm set at wide receiver, tight end, and running back. Wide receivers, AJ Brown, Brian Thomas Jr., DJ Moore, T. Higgins, Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm 5-5 and can sneak into the playoffs with the 6th seed. Do I try to get picks or just ride it out? I would probably just ride it out because unless you have your own pick, it's probably not worth it. Fantasy condo, Jalen Hurts or 2 top 6, 25 first, 10 team. In a 10-team super flex, quarterback isn't quite as important, but it is 6 point per passing touchdown. So, start 12. That's a lot. I would probably still go Hurts. It's closer, though. When you get to Waddle, will you talk about his outlook for the next few seasons? Absolutely. We can definitely talk about Waddle. What am I trying to get for Swift? I would try to give my second and Swift for a first. That's what I would probably be trying to do if I am not trying to compete. All right, let's keep it going. Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's kind of right in between these two tiers. I think he's going to be, I don't know, would I be willing to take him in the first? I think he goes to the top of this tier right now. I think he goes to the top of this tier. Oh, it's close, though. Let's see. Brandon Cooks probably goes here, but maybe deserves to be there, honestly. Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk's a really tricky one. For right now, let's go here for Brandon Ayuk. I don't know your guys' thoughts. I don't know if I can quite have him in that third tier. Yeah, I'm going to probably put him there for right now. Mr. Bakeslaw, what's good, buddy? Down on Brooks. Yeah, we're down a little bit down on Brooks right now. We always have been. Moved Connor for Rachaad White, undefeated season. And now I personally would probably rather Connor. I understand like worrying about Benson, but he's been really lucky getting a few touchdowns. I don't think that's something that you can trust. Zach, I think Zed, I missed his 1 QB start 10, no 10 in premium. Trade Dobbins and Aaron Jones for Chris Olave. If you're not a contender, yep, I think that's a fine move. Just traded Brian Robinson, Mooney, in a late second, 26 second, 27 second for Bo Nix, Deontay Johnson, Shaheed, and an early 25 seconds. Wow, that's a lot. But if it's a super flex league and you got a quarterback, then that was the right move. Let's see. How bad did I do? 12 team super flex sign improvement traded Marvin Harrison Jr. for Hawkinson in the 25-103. It's hard to know for sure if it's going to be 103. But assuming that we do know that, I still don't think I would do that. I still think I'd rather Marvin Harrison Jr., but it's not awful. Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley feels like he might need to be in this tier. He's productive right now. I would probably put him right there. CeeDee Lamb is still a guy I'm willing to take in the first round of a startup. I get it. The rest of this season's going to be a little bit disappointing, but I think I would still be willing to take him there. Cedric Tillman. Cedric Tillman. Let's see. I think I'm going to put him right here next to Brandon Ayuk. I think that's the right spot for him. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on Cedric Tillman? I know it's only been 3 games, but those 3 games have been really good. It's clearly a team that he can take over. It's not like it's because of an injury or something like that. Like, this could be his role moving forward. Eli wants to go tier 5. He wants to go tier 5. So 1 tier down. Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin. He is probably in this tier. Most of you guys want to put him with Ridley. I'm high on him. I don't think I can. I don't think I can move him down. I would take Tillman 10 times out of 10 over Calvin Ridley, I think. All right, here's some Tillman truthers. Bonzera, Tillman is this year's Nico. Drew, I'd prefer Tillman over Ayuk even. Okay. All right. You guys can convince me to keep him here. Convinced me to keep him here. Chris Olave. I guess he belongs in this tier. I'm not a big Chris Olave guy. I've never been a very big Chris Olave guy, but I guess he deserves to be in that tier. I just don't love him personally. I don't know. Eli, I'm a Judy owner, so I'm coping. I get you. I guess Olave there. He'll probably be at the end of the tier for me. There's going to be other players that I'm going to put slightly ahead of him, but I think he belongs there. I just don't love Olave. I really don't. In goal, we trust contender with good wide receiver depth, but shallow at running back. Would you roll the dice and trade away Jameson Williams for Jonathan Brooks, knowing he won't help me now or stick it out? If you have good wide receiver depth, I think it's pretty fair. Carr's always trying to kill him. Yeah, assuming they get a new solid quarterback, I'd feel a bit better. Feel like we're forgetting how good Ayuk was last year. Situation only got better if he wasn't injured. Purdy's been balling out. Purdy has been good, but we do have Ricky Pearsall now, and Debo's not gone yet. They re-signed Christian McCaffrey. It's a busy team. It's a busy team. All right, Christian Kirk here. Christian Kirk, I think is probably in this tier with Ridley. No, I think he's here. I'm honestly not convinced there's much of a tier break between these two. I'm still trying to figure out these 2 tiers. I don't have like a good feel for them just yet. Although it does feel like a good tier. I think he is. It's hard. I know I'm trying to get a feel for where everybody's at, because this was a generated one, and then I added in a couple pieces that weren't in there, like Cedric Tillman wasn't in there. There's 1 or 2 other guys, so I need to figure out who I'm missing. Also, I don't even know who this is. Does anybody know who this guy is? Like, who's this white guy? I have no idea who that is. So if anybody can clue me in, that would be really helpful. Also, where's Brian Thomas? I don't know that I see Brian Thomas on here either. Is that Luke? Is that really? Man, he sucks. All right. No, he's fine. He's fine. I think. I didn't realize that was Luke McCaffrey. I really didn't. I did not realize it was him. I do not see Polk on there at the moment. I'll try to item by the end if I can. All right, Cooper Cup. He's a tricky one because of the age. Yeah, so we'll probably need to add Brian Thomas Jr. Let's get him in here. All right. Added him. There we go. All right. Neighbors is here. Neighbors is right there. Some of these guys have their college photos still in here. Whoops. Let's see. Is that Brian Thomas? Also, I put both of these guys at the bottom. Okay, so we figured out Luke McCaffrey. I don't even know who this is. I also don't I don't think that's Tolbert. I can't figure out who that one is either. All right, let's keep it going. Christian Watson, and isn't this Boutte right there? Calvin Ridley. The reason I have him in the same tier, Christian Watson, when healthy, he's good and he's young, but I would consider them in the same tier. Ridley just doesn't have much time left. Oh, is that Kendrick Bourne? Shows how relevant he is right now. All right. We'll add Jalen Polk. That's not Jalen Polk. There we go. We'll add him in here. It's funny the players that they did have in and the players they didn't. We got Luke McCaffrey in here, but we don't have Brian Thomas and Jalen Polk. What are we doing? All right, let's keep it going. Cooper Cup. Cooper Cup feels like, is he the beginning of this tier or is he the end of this tier? I think he's the end of this tier. He's still just so productive. I get the age, but he's just so productive. I think he's going to go there for me. Cortland Sutton. Okay, so right behind Godwin. Okay, I feel pretty good about that spot. Cortland Sutton, I think, goes to the top of this tier for me. Maybe I should move Christian Watson down. I don't know. What do you guys think? Which tier? Light green or less light green? I don't know. I think I am going to move him down here. Yeah, he does. Let's move him down here. All right, Diami Brown, or is this Jahan Dotson? Either way. Boop. Oh, that's Curtis Samuel. That is Curtis Samuel. You're absolutely right. Man, I'm struggling today. I'm struggling, but I always know where Darius Slayton is. Darius Slayton, love this guy. Always comes through when I need him to. We're going to put him there. Darnell Mooney. Ooh. Mooney's been really good. Mooney's been really, really good. I think he's got to go in this tier. I think he's got to go in the yellow tier. He's just been too good not to. I don't think I can quite put him in the Olave tier yet. But he's 27 years old. He's been a wide receiver one. Like, he's got to go in this tier, I think. Ooh, Ryan says, I'd rather have Mooney over Olave. I'm not an Olave guy either. I'm really not. At this point, I don't see, even though they're both older, I see Adams as kind of a step down from Cooper Kupp. So I'm going to put Adams at the top here. I think I'm going to put Adams at the top. You guys are in. You guys are in. On Mooney, I respect it. Theo saying Adonai needs to go higher. He's awesome. 22, finally getting a lot of snaps. Yeah, but Pittman's going to be back. Anthony Richardson's going to be back. Like, dude, there's nobody that was higher on his tape than me. Like, I loved his tape. But at this point, I just can't move him up. I just can't. I want to. I just can't. All right, DeAndre Hopkins. I think he's probably at the moment at the end of this one. He's just been pretty good with Kansas City, but I could see the top of this one. What are you guys thinking? Light green or darker green? Light green or darker green? I'm leaning darker green, but I want to go to the lighter green. You want high dark green? Okay, yep, that's exactly where I've got him. I agree with you, Payne. I think this is back end light for Brandon. Okay, see, yeah, we've got some controversy. I'm gonna leave him there for now. I might move him up. We'll see how things go. Debo, I think, fits real nicely into this tier. I think he would go like probably right in this range, maybe right behind Godwin. I think probably right in there is where he fits. Devonta Smith, this one's pretty easy for me. He's gonna go in the somewhere between the orange and yellow. I have no idea what color this is. Maybe some art specialists out there. Why don't I like Olave? Yeah, I want to move him down one. Look, the dude's constantly getting concussed. Like, the concussions are starting to become a real issue for me. I think since college he's had like 5 or 6 concussions. So it's starting to become a genuine concern. And he's always just been fine. He's never been really good. And I think that's the hard part is his ceiling maybe already maxed out. Taylor, Godwin's younger than those guys, so that one's pretty easy for me. Kupp and Hopkins. I wanted to put Hopkins at the back of the green tier, the light green tier, but there's just a good chance he's just literally done after this season. Healthier at this point, he's healthier than Godwin for sure. Kupp's good to go though, rest of the way. Deontay Johnson. At this point, I mean, he's fallen far. Is he like the beginning of this tier? Or is he at the end of this tier? Blue or green for Deontay Johnson? Blue or green? I'm leaning the blue. You think green's Ed? Into the dark green. Okay. I'll do him there for you guys. I'm not convinced. DJ Moore would have easily been in that third tier for me beginning of the season, but now unfortunately DJ Moore falls kind of into this tier, which is starting to become a pretty big tier. But we're gonna go with this tier for DK Metcalf. DK, just such a productive player when he's on the field. He's such a consistent wide receiver too. Yeah, I have a feeling that fourth one's going to be packed. I have a feeling that fourth one's going to be packed. Ooh. All right, so we feel good about DJ Moore. We feel good You feel like Olave's looking out of place up there? Man, how far Olave's falling. I mean, I'm fine moving him down. I'm fine. Maybe I'll move him to the back of this tier. Honestly, taking DK over Olave. I agree. I'm gonna move him to the back of the tier. Drake London, I think, has done enough this year to enter this tier. I've really, really liked what I've seen out of him. Helps too that knowing it's not just Kirk Cousins, but they have the quarterback of the future in waiting. So I think Drake London has really been that guy that's kind of ascended up for me. And now I think he's firmly in this second tier. Elijah Moore, I guess here. I don't know. I almost want to put him in the very bottom tier. It's been bad. Gabe Davis, I am going to put him in this bottom tier. Mark, I am close to putting Amon-Ra in the first round. I'm just trying to think through it. I don't know that I would be able to draft him in the first round right now. Tillman tier 1. All right. Unkindness bottom for Elijah. You think I should? All right. I'm good with it. I'll put him at the beginning of the bottom. But Garrett Wilson, I think, very neatly fits into the second tier. Would not be willing to take him in the first, but I'm very, very excited to have him on my team. Would you trade Mooney for Olave in Dynasty? I think I'd rather Olave. Think it's really close. Amon-Ra went 110. I mean, I could see him going in the first. I just think of all the quarterbacks that I'd want. And honestly, there's some running backs that I would rather take ahead of him. And I think that's where it gets a little tricky. Right now, I would for sure be taking Bijan ahead of him. I would probably be taking Gibbs ahead of him. So that's 2 running backs that do kind of probably push him out. So if you get a 26-second, Taylor, you said you're out on Olave. I could see that. George Pickens. Looking a lot better here. I'm going to say George Pickens is probably in this tier now for me, which is wild because I've not been the biggest George Pickens guy, but I think that's the right spot for him. Ethan, quick question. Would you do Mooney, Pacheco, and Achane for London, Devonta Smith, and 108? I love Achane, but yes, I'd be willing to do that move. Not tier 1. Get out of here, Tyler. Get out of here. All right. This time, I think this really is Diami Brown, or maybe it's John Dotson. I really don't know. These nameless commander wearing jersey guys from Washington. I don't know if it's Dotson or Diami. Either way, they're going in that tier. Dotson. Okay, it's Dotson. I don't know. It's one of them. Said Andy Brown and a third for Marv. Thoughts in a rebuild? Yes. If I'm trying to win it this year, no. Jake Bobo's fun, but he's got to go in this tier. Almost this tier, but just because he's fun, he goes here. Why am I blanking on who this is? Who's this? Who's that? Oh, he's got. Oh, it's Jacoby. I should have known that one. That one's Jacoby. I actually really like Jacoby Myers. I think Jacoby goes. I think he's like right in this Ridley range. I would say Jamar Chase, absolutely first round of a startup. I think he's slightly ahead of CD at the moment. Very, very close. Jameson Williams. I think he's like here. Oh, what do we think? Is that a good spot for Jameson? You guys are thinking more Sutton? Thinking down a tier. I definitely can't go up a tier. I could be talked into going down a tier. Are you still selling Ridley on a contending team after back-to-back 20-point weeks? Depends what I can get. Depends what I can get. You guys think Jameson top of this tier instead? Oh, Matt wants to go down to Watson level. That's too far. I cannot do that. Buying Mooney. All right. This will be the right spot. We'll stick here for now. I could see him being towards the end, towards the beginning. I'm good with this. JSN, I think, is probably right here-ish. Here-ish. Somewhere around here. Yeah, I could see that in gold. I could see that. I think that's roughly the right spot for JSN. JSN's a tricky one though, man. You see the talent, you see the ability, but you also know it's a tough situation. Ahead of Olave, I mean, I do think Olave has more dynasty value. I think JSN, he's always going to be that wide receiver too. I don't see DK Metcalf going anywhere. So your hope is that Olave gets a quarterback and is able to be the guy that many expect him to be. I mean, I don't think there's a big difference in age between those two guys. Whoa, Locane. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. That's super, super kind of you. I traded Tyreek for Debo. Is that a good trade? I have no problem making that deal. Look, Tyreek rest of season could absolutely be a guy that we saw before. But right now, the signs aren't necessarily pointing to that. Debo's still good in this offense. Plus, you're going to have probably another year or so of Debo than you will of Tyreek. So I have no problem making that deal. I have no problem making that deal. Taylor, they're both first-round wide receivers and exploded in the game without DK. Appreciate the response. Yeah, he did. And if DK wasn't there, that would be a very, very different story. But he is. Jaden Reed, I like a lot of what I've seen out of Jaden. I'm willing to put him into this tier right here. Man, Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle. What tier is he, guys? Is he this tier or is he this tier? I know he hasn't been good lately, but Tyree could be done soon. Tua is back. I need help on this one. I need help. I'm going to let the people decide. Are we going with the orange-ish color or are we going with the yellow? We're going yellow. All right. Sounds like everybody feels pretty strongly about yellow. I have no problem with that. It was a hard one for me. It was back and forth. Jerry Judy, welcome to this tier. Jordan Addison, I think, is this tier here. He's younger than most of the guys in this tier, but production is just always going to be limited in that situation. Josh Downs. Reynolds, I'll just do it real quick. Reynolds needs to go here. Josh Downs, though. Waddle not worth owning? He said, my kids will not eat because of him. You looked great in that first drive, Lorenzo. You looked great in that first drive. Oh, man. With AR saying green? He had his best game of the year with AR. I would say right now, I'm at least at the top of light green. I could be talked into the bottom of yellow. Back of yellow. Okay. I think that's the right spot. I'm good with that. Well, got another one. What is this? Josh Palmer? No, it's not Palmer. Who's this? I don't know. Some Chargers receiver. It's not Quentin Johnston. Okay, it is Palmer. All right. Palmer's probably here, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Justin Jefferson. Should we put him like here? Just kidding. Just a little fantasy football humor. I think Olave screwed up tiers 3 through 5. Stop with your Olave hate. Stop it. Debo and Achane for Jefferson. Ooh, Ethan, I think I would. Assuming it's Dynasty. I think I would. Close to now. We might not roster Justin Jefferson. Put him at the bottom. Keenan Allen. Man, it sucks. I think I got to go here at this point where Keenan Allen. He's getting real old. The production in Chicago is not even close to what it was in LA. I think I would be going. Yeah, I think I gotta go with this light blue. Kendrick Bourne. Keon Coleman. Would love to see more analysis on all the rookies so far. Was just such a deep class and we're past the midway point. We did talk about that on which episode? We touched a lot on the rookies 3 or 4 weeks ago. I think 3 weeks ago. We touched a lot on the rookie receivers. Keon Coleman. You want light green? Oh, for Keon. Okay, I thought you were saying Kendrick Bourne. Yeah, I think light green feels about right for Keon Coleman. Somewhere in here, probably. You're thinking Amari tier? I'm not the biggest Keon Coleman guy, but I think he deserves to be in a slightly higher tier. All right. I think overall we're pretty good with that. I mean, if you can get Irving as well, that would be great, Ethan. Justin Jefferson's such a good player. And look, most people don't even love Achane as much as I do. I have him as a top 3 dynasty running back, but still, it's getting Justin Jefferson is just it's worth it. What do we got? Osborne here. Beep. Lad McConk Madonkadonk. Feels like a yellow. He feels like a yellow. I think I would take him over Mooney, over Cup, Debo. I think he's right in this like JSN area for me. Yes, Rich would say top tier, no doubt. Trade him straight up for Jamar Chase, who's not consistent. That would be the rich call right there. Just kidding, mostly. Malik Neighbors. I think he's right around like here-ish. Right before, right after Garrett Wilson. I'm going to put him right before. You're going to say Neighbors red tier. Easy. I don't know that I can do that. I don't know that I can. Those guys are so consistently good. I could see, like, if we want to talk about him over Amon-Ra, like, I could see that. No, Taylor. You're saying that because he's hurt or because Dak's hurt. He was the number 1 overall fantasy receiver last year, still in his prime. I don't think so. I think he's right. I feel good about this right here. I think he's in the right spot. Still puts him as a top 5 guy. Neighbors hasn't been putting up great point totals lately. He hasn't. I think better days are ahead, but we're acting like he's been pulling out a Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase rookie season. That he has not. All right. Let's go to Hollywood Brown. I guess we're going to put him here for now just because maybe he'll be alive again someday. It is dynasty value. I agree. I would not right now. If I had to choose, I would take Amon-Ra and CD over Malik Neighbors. It would be close, but I'm taking both of those guys over Malik Neighbors still. You had a great start, but when offenses play, we see them start off hot and then defenses adjust. I need to see the counterpunch from Malik Neighbors. I've not seen the counterpunch yet. Is he above Jerry Jeudy? I don't know. I haven't seen him play in like 3 years, it feels like. All right. Marvin Harrison Jr., I think he fits pretty nicely right into this tier here, right around Garrett Wilson, Amon-Ra, definitely below Amon-Ra, but like A.J. Brown, Drake London, Marvin Harrison Jr., Garrett Wilson, like all those guys feel pretty close. Are both DK and Olave worth first-round picks? I would say so. I'd be willing to give a late first for either one of those guys. I'd be willing to give like a mid to late first for any of these guys in this tier. Let's see. Michael Pittman Jr. I think he's unfortunately got to go like in this tier. I love Michael Pittman Jr., but like it's just been a rough year. I get the back injury and he's not meshed with AR quite like we thought. So I think Pittman kind of falls into that tier. Mike Evans was still being as productive as he is. He still goes into this tier as well. I'm going to put him right behind Cooper Kupp. I think he's right in that one. And don't get married to the exact spot in the tier. They're like roughly in order, but it's not going to be exact. The tier is the most important part for me. Pittman behind Mooney for production. I mean, so far this year, absolutely. We have a longer track record of Pittman having better seasons, though. So it's close. Yep. And I would rather take Amon-Ra right now. It's very, very close between those two. Mike Williams, I think, fits pretty nicely into this like second to bottom tier. I don't think I would. I don't think I would take Neighbors first round startup. It's close. I'd rather have Bijan. I'd rather have Gibbs than Neighbors. There's quite a few quarterbacks I'd rather have. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. This is not hate. This is not hate on Neighbors. I'm ranking him as Dynasty wide receiver 5. We're acting like I'm ranking him in this tier. Shame. All right, here we go. Let's go to Nico. Nico fits pretty nicely in this tier. I don't know exactly where I would put him. Right around Marvin Harrison Jr. Yes, I would take Gibbs over Neighbors. Puka. I've never been the biggest Puka guy. If it was just left up to me, I'm probably putting Puka here, but I think probably consensus would be that he should be up here. But I'm curious what you guys think. If it was just left solely up to me, I'd be putting him here, but I think the consensus is probably going to be here. Second tier. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. All right. Tier 2. I'm good with that. I'm going to live with it. I'm not the biggest guy on him, but I get it. Quentin Johnston's done enough for me to be like in this kind of tier. He's still going to be more of like a best ball, big play type of guy, but I think he fits pretty well within that tier of other guys that are more best ball type players or receivers that are like a little bit older. Um, Johnston with Watson makes all okay. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Rashee Rice, he's absolutely got to go into this tier for me. I'll put him a spot ahead of Puka. Uh, what he was doing with Patrick Mahomes this year was looking really, really special. It's unfortunate the injury, but should be back just fine to start the year next year. So Rice is pretty neatly in that tier for me right now, which that second tier is looking really good, really good. I can understand Puka over Rice. I'm just not a big Puka guy. I'm not a big Puka guy. Rashid Shaheed, I like what he did this year. I don't know that I can quite put him in the yellow tier, but I think I can put him like right next to Jameson Williams. I feel like that's like the good spot to put him, that big play, explosive guy. But we just don't know if the consistency will be there. So I think he fits pretty nicely with Jameson Williams. Rashad Bateman. Is that enough love, Taylor? Is that roughly where you'd put him over JMO? Okay, but like in the right tier, right? In the right area. Behind Coleman. Okay, so yeah, we're arguing semantics a little bit, but we got him in the right range. Got him in the right range. Let's go with Rashad Bateman. Think he's like right above Jared Judy, probably. He has some games here and there, but man, I feel like I almost need like a tier in this tier. Like I wish I could almost split this tier into two. I just don't know how I would do it. But I think Ricky Pearsall falls into this tier as well. I would put Ricky Pearsall because I definitely think he's better than this group, but he's definitely not in this group. So I think he belongs here. It's becoming such a big tier of wide receivers. But I guess that's kind of correct because in real life, a lot of these guys, like on one build, I'd rather this guy, and another build, I'd rather that guy. With one big week, they could like move to the top or the bottom of that tier. So I think that feels right about the right range for Ricky Pearsall. Yeah, Eli, I get you. He's a tricky one. What draft capital are you sending for Waddle versus Pearsall? Oof, it's pretty close. So I mean, I guess it's good that I have them in the same tier. I feel like this is one of those ones where I would give a first if I can get that player in a second back. I think that's kind of the range. I think it's tough. Rome, I think, has to go into the same tier. I'm going to put him closer to the top, though. I would take him kind of towards the top of this group. Don't think he quite is ready for this group yet, but he's not far off. Romeo Dobbs, I think, is like right in here. Same with like Christian Watson range. Rondell Moore. We'd love to have you, buddy. We did. Diggs feels good with like Ridley. I think that's pretty much the right spot. Do you think Rome will have a good chance of going up a tier next year? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think he'll go up a tier next year. Tank Dell, he's fallen into this giant tier. He's fallen in here like right around Mooney, I guess. Kind of right in this range. T. Higgins falls into this tier. Man, like this is a huge tier. Probably like Lad McConkey range. I don't have Dontavian Wicks. I don't know that I'm going to add him in here. It's tough, just because there's so many players to go through. Wicks would probably be like right in these somewhere in these two tiers. Rome's got a big old head. Yeah, he's got that close up. He's got that close up. Yeah, I don't see Xavier Legette on here either. Wait, is this Xavier Legette? That might be Leggett. No. Where's Leggett? Or who is that guy? It kind of looks like Leggett. Anybody know who that guy is? This guy. Is that Gallup? That is Gallup. You're absolutely right. All right, Gallup, we'll just quickly put you there. So we don't have Xavier Leggett. Leggett would probably go in this tier, beginning of this tier for me, for what it's worth. I would say I'm gonna go with Terry McLaurin. He belongs right in this range, right around Debo, Michael Pittman Jr. He does kind of look like Leggett, though, doesn't he? Not quite the same. They kind of look alike. Lockett, you're gonna go into this tier. Ooh, what do we do with Tyreek Hill? I don't think he's in that like orangish yellow tier anymore. I think he belongs right next to his Dolphins brethren. Yeah, I do kind of want to split up that tier. I just don't know how, because I really don't value those guys much differently. Yeah, that'd be a tough one. Wandale, I think he's kind of at the end of this tier for me. Worthy belongs perfectly with J-Mo, Rashid. I think I could see the Odunze and Up being its own tier. I could potentially see that. Zay Flowers. I think Zay goes into this tier for me. I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see if there's an argument on that one, because that does feel a little bit high. But I think it's orange. I think it's orange for Zay. Yeah, we didn't get to Shakir too. Shakir would fall probably towards the end of this tier for me. I don't think it is. I mean, he's been a wide receiver one this season, right? Or am I incorrect on that? Let me double check. I think he's been a wide receiver one this season. He's been really good. Let's see. Points per game, wide receiver, PPR. Oops, that's 2023. Yeah, Zay Flowers, wide receiver 9 on the season. Like, I think he deserves to be in that tier. Young guy, he's playing well. And I do. I view Zay and Reed right about the same. Luke McCaffrey, I guess, like here. I didn't even know who you were. So, all right, this is the one that could get me in trouble. This is the one that could get me in trouble. You've seen the clips. I can't put Brian Thomas in the orange tier. I'll put him at the top of this tier. But I can't put him in this tier. Everyone loves Brian Thomas Jr. I know. He's good. He's not great. He's not elite. He's a good player. No, it is not, Wesley. No, it is not. He's had like 2 big games. One of those was because he had an 80-yard touchdown on a terribly blown coverage from the Colts. He's not even the leading target getter on his team on a per game basis. That's far and away Evan Ingram. Like, I think that's right. Oh, Taylor wants to get me like in trouble. He wants to put him down with Tank Dell. You're trying to get me in big trouble. I can't do that. I think I'm fine with, like, he is not a wide receiver 1 to me, but he's like a higher end wide receiver 2. I'm good in like the 13 to 16 range. I feel comfortable in that area. I can't go higher. Can't go higher. All right. Last one, Jalen Polk. Polk belongs right behind my guy, Adonai Mitchell. I really want to move Adonai Mitchell up one. I just can't. We've got a big tier in the yellow squad there. I would love, like, I wish there was almost one more tier in here to maybe split that up, but all those guys, like, I don't feel like I can put any of them in the tier below. I don't feel like I can put any of them in the tier above. I feel like that's where they belong, but I could see splitting that up into 2 tiers if we had a little more time. But guys, got to get out of here. Love hanging out with you guys. Love talking with you guys. Spending time looking at these tiers. Super, super fun for me. Appreciate you guys. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. Best luck in week 11.